Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. And today, I thought it would be great to talk about a massive change that has just arrived into the game from V1.0.31, Golden Autumn Update, which is the fact that now alliances and kingdoms who want to trim all of that dead weight, trim all that fat, can now do perfect, near perfect rebuilds by being able to migrate to kingdoms that do not have a king without needing any permission. You can just immediately go in and go ahead and start capturing what you want. It's almost like it's the wild, wild west in the real estate market, and the gate is non-existent on this massive new plot of land or all these different plots, and you can just kind of go in and take what you want. So what are we talking about here? Well, let's read here from the update, which says, reworked migration. Realms in Season 2 and beyond who have not appointed a high king will have no power limit. Yes, you heard that correctly. 0 power limit means unlimited. Bring in all your friends as high as you want, as much boo-reenies as you want, and just have a good time. And their migration permit cost will be reduced by 20%. So, again, meaning the players, I interpret this as the players that are in those kingdoms will have a 20% migration cost, unless this means, which would be interesting, is if you're going to migrate to a dead kingdom, they're going to give you a migration reduction cost, almost incentivizing you to go to dead kingdoms to try and revitalize them. Is that what that means? You guys can let me know how you're interpreting that. However, this is major. And for some of the reasons, we're going to dive into this. We're also going to go into how many kingdoms right now do not have a king in them, at least as it pertains for Season 2 and beyond. But we're going to go up from kingdoms 1 through about 400. Before we do that, though, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. I have to show off one thing that I ended up experiencing today, and I have to tell some people because I posted it on the Discord, and I am so giddy, like a Japanese schoolgirl who just went to go and wait in line at midnight for their most recent manga. With that in mind, it is the fact that I found out that there was this new feature, and I don't know if it was mentioned in the patch notes because I just cannot recall, but they have added a skip tutorial button to making new accounts. And for those who wonder and are curious on, boss, why are you so excited for this? Well, most of you know that I have a shiitake mushroom large amount of characters, and I typically make a character in every single kingdom. I think I'm up to about 502, 503 right now, so I have over 500 accounts. And I do this for a number of reasons, but mostly it's data collection. It's, kind of figuring out who's there, being able to message people, DM them directly, looking at changes, auger stones, etc. And so the fact that this came about 2 years later, this has been a moment that I finally feel appreciated and have a sense of recognition for the work that I've put in and that I love doing. And even though I did not mind grinding my 500 account-ishes or so up until this point, this just feels like a pat on the back and a thank you for the time that you spent here. Now, we can call this the BN feature update. I'm totally fine with that. However, let's move on. Wait, who messaged me here? What are this? Okay, yeah, I have to do a video on that too. Yes, I will. Okay, let's go back. Sorry, before that, let's go to the sheet first so we can show you guys what we're talking about. Let me skadoosh and move some stuff over here. So at the moment, there are about 145-ish kingdoms. We'll say 146. If we are going up to 382, I should say up to 413. So if you go from 1 to 413, now again, not all of these are in Season 2, some of these I think are in Season 2 with the exception, and we'll take a look in game. I think all of these and more are in Season 2 already. But I've only gone up to 415 so far. I have to do another pass-through on this because the last time I did this was about 2 months ago, a little less than 2 months ago, so a little more than a month and a half. And at the moment, there's 146 kingdoms from at that time that did not have a king. And so, again, some of the ones, if you want to kind of go all the way down that we can mention, right, you got like 2, 6, 10, 14. And again, maybe some of them might have a king or queen now, but again, at the time, they did not. So, right, you got 20, 24, 25, 26, 33, 35, 42, 46, 50, 51, 53. Well, let's go up to 90, 58, 59, 63, 66. But if you guys want to get access to this sheet, it's on my Discord. So you just join the Discord, and I'll show this to you guys now. Let me see if we can go on the Discord here. And we'll just do a little switch of runers. And if you go here, you just have to go to reaction rules. And then you'll select fourth from the left, Call of Dragons right here. And then you'll see the Call of Dragons section. If this does not pop out, you'll just click it. You'll go to COD Data Stats. And then it's going to be here, number 6, Best Migration Recruitment Resource. That is what this one is. And so the idea of this is that this opens up, I think, a lot of doors now for alliances and kingdoms who really want to trim that fat and they just want to remove all that dead weight or any dead weight depending on how they go off. And again, we're talking more for the fighting kingdoms and, you know, more of the top kingdoms and alliances specifically that do categorize or identify as fighting kingdoms, we should say, where they really want to kind of lean out and min-max their fighting capacities and capabilities. And so in this case, you can go on this sheet and you can figure, and I'm going to update this as well, hopefully within the week, but you'll be able to go on here and you can look at all the kingdoms that don't have a king or queen. You can look at the top alliance and or any top alliances, depending on how many I do. So you can kind of be able to filter and get a gauge on how many alliances, what the power is, what's the least power in each of these kingdoms that don't have a king or queen, because those are probably going to be more of the higher sought after pieces of real estate. But this is going to give you guys an opportunity now to basically go into these kingdoms free and just kind of establish and do whatever you want at that point. Whereas before, that wasn't the case. You really could only do it if you were able to speak to a king and they were willing to let you in. And if they didn't have a king or queen, you were just kind of not able to utilize those kingdoms or servers because they didn't have a king or queen in place. And it was just set at that default power, which was, I think, between 1 mil and 15 mil, depending on the season at the time. And those are in the migration rules. And so it was just a very low cap. It didn't really allow for any movement going in. And so, like I said, I think this is going to change the entire landscape. I think that now we will end up seeing a higher percentage increase of alliances and kingdoms that, I guess more specifically probably alliances, but you could argue some kingdoms, that may realistically start looking at these viable options. And we may end up seeing larger amounts of movement now going from full to crowded status kingdoms into normal status kingdoms because of this change. And so I think once a lot of these kingdoms get to the next migration phase, if not already, they are probably starting to look at, okay, listen, we now have a fantastic opportunity to leave, trim our fat, go into a kingdom with the lowest power, and then, but the challenge then becomes, are you going to need to coordinate with others, right? Because the real estate is prime right now. So wouldn't it be funny if you have a number of alliances in certain seasons or certain kingdom pools that are looking to migrate out now that they know this update is in effect, and it's all really about who's going to be able to get there first. Because if you get there first, then you'll be able to get king and queen first, and then you can start restricting it and then, you know, changing it here and there to allow your people to come in. So it would be so funny, and again, this is probably worst case scenario, but if you have a super incredible ideal kingdom to go to, and your group and another group, the moment migration hits, end up going there at the same time, or you get multiple alliances that go there, and then because they've migrated, they're stuck there at that point, and then what? Does it just become a civil war, and they're just going to like fight to the death? This is going to become like a Kingdom 5 from Infinity Kingdom, where it's just the Kingdom of Death. It's just straight PvP because of the fact that nobody coordinated, nobody communicated on where they're going. But at the same time, do you want to tip your hand off and let other people know where you're going in the event that they may just want to go there to screw with you and have basically 24/7 PvP? Could that end up having people that end up stop playing or quit because they just got screwed and they don't want to be in a kingdom fighting for the next, you know, however long? Right? That whole next season, which could very much happen. Would it be funny and crazy to see? Absolutely. So there are so many angles to this, which is why for me, it is so exciting when you think about the overall landscape of the game community and what can really happen because of this change. This can be a change that has a lot of positives, but it can also be a change, even though there's a few negatives, those negatives are very impactful in a huge way. And so, like I said, I will be trying to pay attention to this, but I am going to be keeping my eyes peeled and ears open. So if anyone wants to let me know, if you have an alliance, if you have a kingdom and you're looking to go somewhere, I'm going to be shocked. Now, what I will say, so it's not just all potential cray-crayness, is my recommendation, and again, this is if you don't want to get put into this kind of bad situation, is to reach out to people that you think are going to be migrating. And if so, asking them, hey, where are you thinking of migrating to? I understand that that's it's pretty unorthodox, but this is something that I think really, if it goes badly, can just be so bad for some alliances and players. However, as I said, if you are some of those alliances where you just want to do 24/7 PvP and you want to force it, this is one of those opportunities where if you are just closely paying attention during migration and you assign certain players to watch certain kingdoms and you're just paying attention to the leaderboards, you could basically jump an alliance that's migrating into a kingdom, and you migrate in there, maybe near the end, or once you notice some status changes and you're counting the amount of people that are coming in, you could gangbang some people in their kingdom and just straight up YOLO the PvP, and it would be wild. So again, there's so many scenarios that are going through my head right now. I'd love to know what you guys think on this. Do you think this is a big deal? Do you think it's not a big deal? Why or why not? Do you agree or disagree with some of the scenarios that I'm playing out on if they could or could not happen? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.